My name is Russell Beattie. I'm the creator of The Empire Strips Back, and tonight we're playing in Cleveland. The Empire Strips Back is a Star Wars Burlesque parody, which I created about 8 years ago, and since then it's just got bigger. It's now touring internationally, and yeah, it's taken over my life. It depends on the show. We do whatever we need to get the show going. So that particular theatre where I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning has it's right in the middle of Sydney, so there's no parking after 6 a.m. So we had to get there, load in at 4:30 in the morning, and then we had to kind of wait for a little while until we could come back and start setting up for the show. But yeah, it's basically every theatre, because it is a burlesque show, it needs to adapt to every kind of environment you could imagine. Hence why tonight we're playing a very old Masonic temple. Yes, we had a small tour last year where we just wanted to kind of see if this show would translate. So I brought the show over on my own dime and played 6 shows in California. And yeah, they kind of went a bit crazy, so we backed it up this year with a slightly bigger tour. We're doing 20 shows across the States and Canada. And yeah, this is going quite well, so we'll probably bring back another tour towards the end of the year, more of the southern states. Well, there's been probably 4 phases of the show's development. The first version was the small, intimate kind of cabaret show, and I pushed that to kind of the limit, and then we took it up to the first version of the touring show, which played mostly theatres, and then from there we've just kind of kept refining it, basically. So the time we brought it to the States, they got introduced to the kind of final form of the touring version. Now, we're interested in looking at trying to do a residency somewhere, and that'll be the next version of the show where I can kind of push the logistic challenges, because at the moment we play a city for one night. So we come in at midday, load in, set everything up, do the show, load out, and then go to the next city for the next day. I would really love to be able to sit down in, like, you know, Broadway, Vegas, West End or something for 3 to 6 months and just let the show be the best version of itself without a lot of the logistic challenges I currently face. My Boba Fett can't have their flamethrowers come off each hand. There's been a few little things like that, just from like permit wise and everything, but as far as the humour and the, you know, essentially the show itself, I haven't had to change anything. The audience is taken in more so than anything else, because at the end of the day, I find comedy is almost universal. Like, there is definitely, you know, the British are probably more drier and whatnot, but generally from country to country, comedy is universal, and that's what we offer. Essentially, we're a comedy show. So I haven't had to change too much of that, but even all the versions of the show, whether it was the small cabaret show, or whether it's this large touring show we have, or the next version of the show, it all had the same integrity behind it and philosophy, which is to do the best show that we could on the budget and skill set we had. And that integrity has maintained through the whole way. So people who saw the first original show got their money's worth. And people who are seeing the show now are going to get their money's worth. And people coming in next year will get their money's worth, you know, because we just try and do the best version of the concept we can, because it's a show made by fans for fans, and we know what kind of fans want. I'm generally surprised about how interactive the audiences are. Like, we get good cheers and good audiences back home. We've also built that. Here, the expectation of the audiences, it's electric. They're ready to kind of jump out of their seats before we even start the show. So it's kind of great seeing that. And yeah, if you just go online and look up our hashtags, for example, on Instagram and whatnot, it's universally praised. I'm generally shocked. Like, you know, I haven't got one negative feedback yet from any of our shows. Nathan was great. Nathan Filling saw our show in Adelaide, and just so happened he was out there for a con, which was on that weekend, and they had nothing to do. And I knew one of the guys at the con, and they asked, could we come to your show? And Nathan turned up, and then it was crazy. He posted about the show, and then we went viral all over again. It was pretty funny. But yeah, he loved the show. And a lot of people who see the show, they get it. You know, the only people who don't really like the idea is people who've never seen the show. You know, so, you know, we're very respectful of the brand, and at the same time we're making fun of ourselves and the audience for, you know, liking something so ridiculously silly, but that's okay. Yeah, it's definitely harder when you're going from state to state and they have so many different like legalities and permits needed and whatnot. That's been a bit of a minefield, say with the different taxes from state to state and whatnot. And also coming out from Australia, already I have those costs associated. It's funny, like a lot of American acts come to Australia, but not a lot of Australian acts come to America. And that's because the money kind of goes one way, you know. In Australia, we're used to paying a higher price for our tickets. Over here, we have to keep it low. And we're not a band, you know, we're not a play or anything like that. Yeah, we have Star Wars kind of as our theme, but a lot of people don't know what it is. So there's a fair bit of education involved with us when we do go into a new market. Like tonight in Cleveland, our numbers aren't huge tonight. It's probably one of the smallest rooms I've played to with this current show. And it's just because it's a new city, new education, you know. We average around about 1,300 to 2,000 people per show. And yeah, so it's a bit of adjusting when you get to a new city and you haven't quite got that many people, and the show will have to deliver and still have the same kind of quality and tone and excitement for a much smaller crowd. So there's a fair bit of adjusting to that. I'm also this time around working with different promoters like Live Nation and Golden Voice and you know, different agents and everything, which is quite new for me because I'm very independent. Which is new for me because I'm quite independent, and yeah, just having that kind of seeing it, you know, work in other countries has been a bit of challenging personally for me. But yeah, as the show grows, I kind of need to bring in more people to help it grow and help facilitate it and trying to help it go into new directions creatively and also financially. My personal passion is to try and give people new experiences, and if I have to use an old entity or an old, you know, like a nostalgic idea to present them something new, I'll do it. Film is my first passion, and that's still I still think that's the purest form for a director to tell a story. I still love live theatre and live events because it's immediacy of seeing the audience, hearing their reaction, and the energy backstage. Like, we have to get it on. Rain, hail, or shine, the show's going on, you know. Film, I love the control. Well, it's a constant fight, you know, you have to kind of, film is just you fighting to keep your vision alive. And I absolutely love print because all the ideas I want to express in film, I can do in print on a much smaller budget. Yeah, I do that with every show I do. They have to have a backstory. For example, the Batman book became out of a Batman show I did. But the Batman show was a vaudeville show based on if Batman was real and he was a real historical figure, the Broadway would have taken those news reports and created a show based on that. So the book is all the news reports, clippings, mug shots, all that kind of stuff of the real events what happened. And then the show is the Broadway version of that, because they did that. They took a lot of you know, things in the news and current affairs and put them on stage, and we kind of just continued that. The only person who crosses over is the Joker, because he's the type of guy who will play himself on stage as well. So I love tone. I find too many people don't understand it when they're creating things. And I love setting up rules for my universe and then playing within those rules. I think the only time there's like a bad story in a movie is when the filmmaker betrays the rules they set up. So, you know, I just watched the trailer for Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. And people go, oh, that's so stupid, it's ridiculous. And I go, yeah, but that's the world they created, you know? They're true to who they are. They're true to what the audience wants. I respect that more then half the other films come out and they do not respect the own rules they've created in their storytelling. And for me, I have to have those rules for that world. Like, I can go batshit crazy with a story as long as that story has set that up correctly in people's minds. You just can't subvert things which the audience don't expect, you know. And to bring it back to Star Wars, I think that's the problem with, you know, the last Star Wars film, The Last Jedi, is that they betrayed the thing they set up, you know. And whether you like it or not, they purposely tried to, you know, pull the rug out from the audience. And it's hard with Star Wars. Star Wars is a very divisive thing, you know, and you're trying to take something as pure Star Wars from the 70s and bring it into now where everyone's entertainment palette, especially for fantasy and sci-fi, is so nuanced and evolved. Like, Game of Thrones has evolved almost the world's, you know, palette when it comes to fantasy. The show is very silly. I'm not making any excuses for that. It's set up like that. We, like I said earlier, we are very serious about being silly on the stage. And it's usually the atmosphere of the audience is the thing what drives it, and they're so euphoric afterwards because they realise it's okay to be silly with the show. And if they can just walk away just going, I just had fun, you know, that's all I'm after. I'm actually working on 4 different timelines at the moment, depending on what comes out of this tour. We are looking to do another tour later in the year, at least. We're also in negotiations with Vegas and West End, so that's there, but it's also quite tricky. You know, you've got one shot in those areas, and if you stuff it up, you stuff it up. I'm working on 2 other shows. One's a musical based on the rise and fall of Arnold Schwarzenegger called Arnie, and the other ones I'm doing is a Ghostbusters show. And I had to I've been wanting to do that for about 4 years, but I've had to wait for the technology to catch up to what I've got planned, because it's going to be the most, I reckon, production heavy burlesque show. I've got a couple more books. I've got a follow-up to Walk Erotica coming out. I've got a regional comic book coming out. And yeah, we also have a website called Giant Panda King, where we make a lot of apparel. All our books are through there, all our merchandise and everything. So yeah, we've got a lot of things on the boil. Next year we'll be making our first feature film, so we just think we've got most of our funding secured for that. Yeah, so basically if it's fun, entertaining, and you know we think we can do it, we'll give it a go.